For decades, sustainability has been framed as an external problem. We redesign economies, we debate climate targets, we create governance frameworks, we innovate technologically, and yet instability persists. Why? Because every system we design is operated by human biology, and human biology has limits. A nervous system under chronic stress does not think long term. A sleep-deprived brain does not regulate emotion effectively. An overloaded executive does not make optimal strategic decisions. I've seen high-performance environments collapse not because the model was wrong, but because the people inside it were exhausted. My name is Lord Professor Paul Martin, and today I invite you to consider sustainability not as a system question, but as a human capacity question. Because perhaps sustainability does not begin with what we build. Perhaps it begins with who is building it. We will move through this in 6 stages. First, mindset from neuroscientific perspective. Second, recovery and why stress is misunderstood. Third, sport as a model of structured adaptation. Fourth, the cultural error of constant output. Fifth, a 3-pillar model of sustainable performance. And finally, why this is economically urgent, not optional. When we discuss sustainability at policy level, we rarely ask, are the operators sustainable? The World Health Organization now classifies burnout as an occupational phenomenon. Harvard research shows chronic sleep restriction significantly impairs executive decision-making and emotional regulation. We are building complex systems on biologically unstable foundations, and unstable foundations eventually crack. True sustainability must include neurological sustainability. Mindset is often reduced to optimism, but neuroscientifically it is a pattern of interpretation. It determines how the brain categorizes stress, threat, or challenge. That distinction activates entirely different biological pathways. Research from Stanford on growth mindset demonstrates measurable differences in stress tolerance and learning persistence. Neuroscience confirms this through differential activation of the amygdala, threat detection, the prefrontal cortex, regulation and executive function. When stress is perceived as a threat, cortisol spikes and cognitive flexibility narrows. When stress is perceived as a challenge, adaptive pathways engage. Same stimulus, different internal coding. That coding determines whether performance improves or deteriorates. Elite sports integrates this fully. Cognitive reframing training reduces psychological stress markers. Athletes trained in psychological regulation demonstrate faster recovery after mistakes, better tactical decisions, greater consistency under pressure. They do not eliminate stress, they metabolize it differently. That is trained capacity, not personality. Stress itself is not harmful. In fact, stress is necessary. Without stress, there is no adaptation, but adaptation requires recovery. The supercompensation model in sports science is simple. Apply load, allow recovery, system rebuild stronger. Remove recovery, breakdown occurs. Now look at the modern professional culture. Continuous cognitive load, minimal sleep, digital overstimulation, reduced physical movement. We have load without structured recovery. Biology cannot sustain that. Research shows athletes sleeping under 6 hours per night demonstrate increased injury risk, reduced glucose regulation, slower reaction times. Yet, professional environments reward sleep deprivation. We confuse exhaustion with dedication. But performance science is clear. Sleep is neural maintenance. Recovery is performance infrastructure. Modern life provides chaotic stress. Sport provides structured stress. It has boundaries. It has recovery. It has progression. It trains the nervous system to tolerate pressure safely. The Lancet Psychiatry 2018 reported that individuals engaging in regular physical activities experience significantly fewer poor mental health days per month. Structured disciplines, particularly martial arts, demonstrate improvements in emotional regulation, impulse control, focus, confidence. Sport becomes more than fitness. It becomes neurological education. It trains resilience biologically. Modern culture equates busyness with value, but productivity research shows diminishing returns after chronic overload. Continuous cognitive strain reduces creativity and strategic thinking. We are confusing volume with performance. Elite Sport corrected this years ago. They monitor recovery markers. They track nervous system readiness. They reduce load strategically. And performance increased. Leadership culture has not yet fully adopted this model, and the cost is visible in burnout statistics. Sustainable human performance requires three integrated elements. Not two, all three. Psychological regulation, training how stress is interpreted. Physical health, sleep, nutrition, movement, recovery cycles. Structured challenge, controlled exposure to stress. Remove one pillar, instability emerges. Together, they create consistency. And consistency sustains systems. This is not a wellness debate. Burnout costs the global economy over $1 trillion annually. It is one of the leading causes of long-term absence. Human depletion is now an economic liability. If nervous systems collapse, decision-making collapses. If leaders burn out, strategy deteriorates. If you grow up chronically dysregulated, future societal resilience declines. We cannot build sustainable economies on biologically unsustainable humans. Sustainability must include neuro-sustainability, psychological sustainability, train mindset, protect recovery, use sport as a structured adaptation. That is how human systems remain stable. The future of sustainability may not depend only on new policies or new technologies. It may depend on whether we are willing to protect and train the human capacity that operates them. Because sustainable systems require sustainable humans. And that is where the real work begins. Thank you for your attention.